I'd like to welcome everyone to our health webinar. As you can see by the opening slide, we're going to talk about cholesterol concerns, stroke, and heart attack prevention. As we discuss each of these issues, it'll become clear to you that there is one organ of the body that is impacted by each of these health risks. It will also become clear to you that this organ can have a tremendous impact on helping to prevent each of these health concerns, especially in the area of stroke and heart attacks. Many people assume I'll be talking about the heart, and while your heart is important, there is another organ that is critical to your cardiovascular health, yet most people have never ever heard of it. This was the case for Rosemary Cannell, age 74. Like many people Rosemary's age, she had cholesterol issues as well as bone density issues. Her physician wanted to put her on several medications to help her reduce her cholesterol and improve her bone density. Instead, she chose to take a natural approach that would address this organ, an organ that she had never ever heard of until a presentation like this helped to educate her on an alternative solution. In September of 2010, Rosemary's numbers were the following: total cholesterol 229, HDL cholesterol 58, LDL cholesterol 146, triglycerides 123. By November of 2010, Rosemary's total cholesterol was 204, and at her last doctor's appointment, which was May of 2011, her numbers were the following: total cholesterol 185, HDL cholesterol 55, LDL cholesterol 111, triglycerides 97. Rosemary had dropped her total cholesterol by 44 points, reduced her triglycerides, and saw a significant improvement in her bone density, all without medication, all by properly nourishing a critical organ that affects the health and function of her entire cardiovascular system. That critical organ is called the endothelium. It is the largest secreting organ in your entire body. Your endothelium is only one cell thick, but it lines the inside of your heart. The inside of all your arteries and arterioles, veins, and venules are lined by this organ. Your capillaries are just extensions of the endothelium. Scientists and researchers once thought this one cell thick lining was just an inert membrane that didn't have any purpose other than keeping your blood in the vascular system. But research over the last 10 years has clearly shown the endothelium to be a multifunctional organ involved in metabolic, immunologic, and cardiovascular health. One of those functions is to convert the amino acid L-Arginine into nitric oxide. Now, before we talk about nitric oxide, I'd like you to get a feel for how large an organ your endothelium is. It's estimated that there are approximately 60,000 miles of blood vessels in the adult body. Every blood vessel is lined by the endothelium. If you took out your endothelium and spread it on a flat surface, it would cover a surface volume of 4 to 8 tennis courts, depending upon the size of the individual. That's amazing, and for many of you, this webinar is the first time you're getting any in-depth information about it. Like Rosemary, America is facing a huge health challenge. According to ABC News, 45% of the adult American population is at significant risk for heart and cardiovascular disease. This is at an all-time high, and it centers on 3 major areas: high blood pressure, cholesterol concerns, diabetes. For this webinar, we're going to focus on cholesterol concerns. According to Northwestern University, 63 million American adults have cholesterol concerns, of which approximately 38 million are at risk for cardiovascular disease. This represents 17% of the adult population and has spawned a huge drug intervention industry. Lipitor is one of the statin drugs most commonly prescribed for cholesterol, and according to ABC News, earned Pfizer more than $5.3 billion just in U.S. sales during the year 2010. Cholesterol is a big business, and it's also the area of cardiovascular health that confuses people the most. The most common questions center on: what is low-density lipoprotein and why is it bad? What is high-density lipoprotein and why is it good? In fact, what is cholesterol to begin with? And can only pharmaceuticals make a difference in your cholesterol levels, or are there natural ways to make favorable changes? This webinar will provide you with answers to these questions. Let's start with the question, what is cholesterol? Simply put, cholesterol is the glue that holds you together. Cholesterol is a fascinating molecule because it's widely used throughout your body. To begin with, cholesterol is required to build and maintain all cell membranes. Without cholesterol, you would be a large puddle on the floor. In addition to providing this structural support, cholesterol also plays an important role in regulating cell membrane fluidity, intracellular transport, cell signaling, and nerve conduction, the liver, where it's converted to bile to aid in the digestion of fats and the absorption of key fat-soluble vitamins like vitamin A, D, E, and K, the formation of key hormones of the adrenal gland as well as sex hormones. Your brain could not function properly without cholesterol since half the dry weight of the cerebral cortex is made up of cholesterol. Additionally, it's vital to the neurological functions of the brain, such as memory, and the ability of the brain to properly use hormones like serotonin. Since serotonin is your body's feel-good chemical, when your cholesterol levels are too low, then your serotonin receptors cannot work properly. As you can see, cholesterol plays a key role in your nervous system, digestive system, immune system, cardiovascular system, endocrine system, and overall metabolism. It's absolutely necessary for your total well-being. So, what's the danger from cholesterol since it's a natural product of the liver? Well, sometimes the liver produces too much cholesterol. When this happens, it can affect the endothelial cells that line all of your cardiovascular system. It can damage the intercellular junctions between the endothelial cells, allowing deposits to build up. This causes the smooth and flexible lining of your blood vessels to become rough and hard, leading to the disease commonly called atherosclerosis. As this process continues over time, the deposits or plaques become larger, which narrows the interior of the blood vessel, making it harder for blood to pass through. This increases resistance to blood flow, which can cause your blood pressure to increase. The narrowing of your blood vessels also causes blood turbulence that can lead to the formation of blood clots. These blood clots, if large enough, or if they pass through too narrow of an opening, can eventually lodge themselves in a blood vessel, causing a blockage. When this happens in the heart, we call it a heart attack. When it happens in the brain, it's called a stroke. Your cholesterol is transported by your bloodstream. However, because it cannot dissolve in your blood, it must be transported to and from the cells by carriers called lipoproteins. There are two basic carriers called low-density lipoprotein, or LDL, and high-density lipoprotein, or HDL. Your HDL cholesterol is called good because it helps to keep the walls of the blood vessels clean by removing excess cholesterol and carrying it back to the liver for additional processing. Your HDL cholesterol helps to protect the endothelial cells. Your LDL cholesterol is called bad. This is because it can adhere to the inner lining of the vascular wall, causing damage to the endothelium. Additionally, LDL cholesterol is very sensitive to oxidative agents to form thick, hard deposits called plaque. This causes your vascular system to become less flexible. As we've already discussed, this can become a contributing factor for high blood pressure and can pose a significant risk for the formation of blood clots. There is a great deal of confusion about cholesterol levels and which numbers to pay attention to. Let me give you a basic guideline and then break it down into greater detail. If the total blood serum cholesterol is above 200, or your HDL cholesterol is below 40, or your LDL cholesterol is above 160, you are at risk. While all three measurements are important, I concentrate on the LDL cholesterol first because it's the one that you have the greatest control over. Additionally, it can cause the greatest damage to your endothelial cells, affecting your cardiovascular health. The lower the LDL, the lower your risk for a stroke or heart attack. There are 5 basic risk levels, and I've placed them on the screen. Because genetics and other risk factors are at play, these are just general guidelines. Always seek qualified medical input to help properly determine what is best for you. However, Given this information, you can see that Rosemary went from a borderline number of 146 to a near optimal number of 111, and she did it all without medication. Some consider HDL cholesterol to be even more important than your LDL reading because it seems to protect the endothelial cells. The general guideline is higher levels are always better. Men and women are different in this category. For men, less than 40 puts you at risk for heart disease. Women, less than 50 places you at a greater risk for heart disease. Your goal is to increase HDL. There is a growing body of research which indicates that an HDL cholesterol level of 60 or higher gives some additional protection against heart disease. Now, the TV airways are loaded with pharmaceutical commercials designed to help lower your cholesterol levels. Unfortunately, most medicines carry a risk for other wellness issues. We'll look at these risks in a little bit. However, before we do, here are some natural ways that can improve your cholesterol levels. First, aerobic exercise. Regular aerobic exercise is an important factor in raising HDL cholesterol. Any aerobic activity with a duration of 20 to 30 minutes is good. Recent research shows that your time duration is more important than your exercise intensity in raising the good HDL cholesterol. As a note of precaution, always check with a qualified health practitioner before starting an exercise program. Stop smoking. Smoking profoundly affects your lungs, heart, endothelial cells, and your cardiovascular system. In addition to improving the health of these organs, when you stop smoking, you will also raise your good HDL cholesterol. Eliminate trans fatty acids. There is a nutritional war in the marketplace to get trans fatty acids out of the food supply, and for good reason. Trans fatty acids have a double impact on cholesterol levels. It raises the bad LDL cholesterol while reducing the good HDL cholesterol. Not a good combination. Alcohol in moderation. Moderation means no more than 1 or 2 drinks per day. At this level, alcohol can help raise good HDL levels. Beyond this, you are asking for substantial health problems. Lose weight. Excess fat, especially around the midsection, is a double whammy on cholesterol levels. As fat accumulates, the bad LDL cholesterol increases while the good HDL cholesterol decreases. Soluble fiber. Adding soluble fiber to your diet is one of the easiest ways to positively impact your total cholesterol levels. Increasing your consumption of foods like oats, fruits, vegetables, and legumes will help to lower the bad LDL cholesterol while increasing the good HDL cholesterol. And finally, nitric oxide. Nitric oxide is critical because it can repair the damage done to the endothelium from bad cholesterol. We'll look at this in more detail in just a minute. Ultimately, the goal is to lower total cholesterol levels while increasing your good HDL cholesterol and decreasing your bad LDL cholesterol. Many people opt for pharmaceutical drugs to help them. Unfortunately, pharmaceuticals carry multiple risks such as muscle pain, muscle weakness, loss of memory and cognitive function, and a potential link to congestive heart failure. The typical pharmaceutical choice is a category called statin drugs. Statin drugs lower cholesterol by blocking a key enzyme that the liver uses for cholesterol production. The enzyme is HMG-CoA reductase. This inhibits the liver's ability to produce low-density lipoprotein. This frees up the number of LDL receptor sites on the surface of liver cells, allowing the liver to remove more cholesterol from the bloodstream. Thus, statin drugs work to inhibit the production of LDL and indirectly assist the liver cells in removing cholesterol from the blood. Studies have shown statin drugs to have the following benefits: lower LDL cholesterol from 18 to 55%, raise HDL cholesterol 5 to 15%, help the body reabsorb cholesterol, reduce oxidative stress, reduce inflammation, stabilize plaque formations. This looks pretty encouraging. By using a drug that can lower the bad cholesterol 18 to 55%, While increasing the good cholesterol 5 to 15%, you can reduce the risk for heart attack, reduce oxidative stress, and reduce inflammation. Who wouldn't want that? Well, let's look at the side effects of statin drugs. Remember the enzyme HMG-CoA reductase that is inhibited by the statin drugs? Well, this enzyme is also critical in the formation of another life-enhancing compound called coenzyme Q10 or CoQ10. It plays a critical role in helping the mitochondria of your cells produce ATP, which is necessary for energy production. Your heart requires high levels of CoQ10 to function properly. Plus, it's involved in respiration, helps to maintain membrane integrity, critical to nerve conduction, and vital to elastin and collagen formation. The side effects of CoQ10 deficiency include muscle wasting, which leads to muscle weakness and severe back pain, heart failure, neuropathy, and tendon and ligament inflammation. Even though the FDA has deemed statin drugs to be safe, there is no drug that is totally without side effects. For statin drugs, especially now that people have been taking them longer than required in clinical testing, the side effects are more evident. They typically fall into two categories. First, muscle pain in the shoulders, jaw, legs, and back. This pain is a symptom of the breakdown of muscle tissue caused by statin drugs. When muscle breaks down, the body must eliminate the excess waste. This can overload the kidneys, leading to a more serious problem. Second, muscle weakness associated with neuropathy. Neuropathy is a malfunction of the peripheral nervous system which can affect muscle tone and function. Other symptoms can include numbness, tingling, burning sensations, and extreme sensitivity to touch. If left untreated, neuropathy can lead to muscle deterioration and possibly paralysis. Additionally, memory loss and cognitive function can also be a side effect of statin drugs. This would make sense since cholesterol is critical to proper brain function. And finally, congestive heart failure has more than doubled since 1989, after statin drugs were introduced into the marketplace in 1987. The current reasoning for this is the interference in the production of coenzyme Q10, which is critical to proper heart function. This leads to two questions. Is there a better way? And can nitric oxide be part of the solution? The answer is yes to both questions. Like diabetes, there really are two issues regarding cholesterol. The first is the overproduction of cholesterol by the liver, and the second is the oxidative damage done by LDL or bad cholesterol on the endothelial cells that line all of your cardiovascular system. So how does nitric oxide factor in this cholesterol equation? While nitric oxide doesn't seem to interfere with the liver's ability to produce cholesterol, it does help to protect the endothelial cells from potential oxidative damage that LDL cholesterol can cause. And nitric oxide helps statin drugs work more effectively. According to Nobel laureate in medicine Dr. Louis J. Ignarro in his book No More Heart Disease, quote, "With tens of millions of people taking LDL cholesterol lowering statin drugs, you might wonder why NO therapy is necessary for lowering cholesterol. The fact is, nitric oxide therapy is a natural way of either reducing your need for statins or eliminating the need altogether without any additional side effects. The most important message for you to take away from the discussion at this stage is that if you are on statins, you should also undertake nitric oxide therapy to amplify your benefits. If you are not on statins, nitric oxide therapy may be able to keep you off them. Either way, the benefits of nitric oxide therapy in the fight against high cholesterol are too great to ignore. So do not hesitate. Start nitric oxide therapy immediately." End of quote. Now, who is Dr. Ignarro? Well, he is one of 3 American researchers who won the 1998 Nobel Prize in Medicine for discovering how your endothelium converts the amino acid L-Arginine into nitric oxide, the master signaling molecule of your entire cardiovascular system. As you can see, nitric oxide can play a significant role in addressing cholesterol concerns. Now let's look at how nitric oxide affects the potential for a stroke. According to the National Stroke Association, 80% of all strokes are preventable. How? By learning to eliminate or significantly reduce the two key factors involved in most strokes. In reviewing the risk factors for a stroke, it's quite clear that the health of your endothelium and its ability to properly produce nitric oxide can play a critical role in stroke prevention. Why? Because the number one risk factor for a stroke is high blood pressure, and the number one cause of a stroke is a blood clot. High blood pressure increases your stroke risk 4 to 6 times. It's the number one risk factor for a stroke, and you have the power to positively impact this area. Addressing this issue alone would make a major impact on stroke prevention. According to the American Heart Association's website, 87% of all strokes are ischemic strokes. An ischemic stroke occurs when a blood clot forms in the bloodstream. This blood clot then lodges within an artery of the brain, causing a blockage. This blockage reduces the necessary blood flow to that section of the brain, leading to damage or death to those brain cells. The amount of damage determines the severity of the stroke. As you can see by these two specific factors, stroke prevention really centers on addressing high blood pressure and reducing the potential for the formation of blood clots. Your body does this naturally through nitric oxide. Nitric oxide is a key to stroke prevention. Inside your body, nitric oxide is the master signaling molecule of your entire cardiovascular system and has three very specific functions. They are: first, nitric oxide helps keep blood platelet cells from sticking together. This helps to prevent blood clots from occurring in the vascular system, thereby reducing the risk for strokes and heart attacks. Second, nitric oxide is your body's most powerful vasodilator to relax the smooth muscle of your vascular wall to properly control blood pressure. This improves blood flow and directly addresses the number one risk factor for strokes and heart attacks. Third, nitric oxide, when at therapeutic levels in the bloodstream, can repair damage to the endothelium and seems to be associated with the body's ability to reverse and eliminate plaque formations. Plaque formations cause the inside of your vascular system to narrow, which can lead to high blood pressure and the increased risk for blockages. Research seems to show that nitric oxide can reverse this process. Nobel laureate in medicine Dr. Louis J. Ignarro refers to nitric oxide as, quote, the body's natural cardiovascular wonder drug, end of quote. Learning how to naturally heal and nourish your endothelium to help it properly produce therapeutic levels of nitric oxide could be a huge factor in stroke prevention. And this also applies to heart attack prevention, since most of the risk factors for a stroke are the same for a heart attack. The easiest and fastest way to nourish your endothelium for improved nitric oxide production is to use a properly formulated nutritional supplement. Even Dr. Oz is now talking about the importance of nutritional supplementation for improved cardiovascular function. Unfortunately, Dr. Oz only talks about the amino acid L-Arginine and leaves out another critical amino acid, as well as the necessary quantities needed to achieve a therapeutic effect. There is a lot that could be said in this area, but let me summarize the basics on how to nourish your endothelium. First, L-Arginine. This amino acid is critical because it's what your endothelium uses to create nitric oxide. However, you need to consume 4 to 6 grams of L-Arginine at one time to be able to achieve a therapeutic increase in nitric oxide. Second is L-citrulline. This amino acid is considered by vascular researchers to be just as important as L-Arginine. You need to consume 200 to 1,000 milligrams to have a therapeutic effect. The reason why L-citrulline is so important is that it recycles L-Arginine to turbocharge the production of nitric oxide over a longer period of time. Additionally, L-citrulline provides an alternative pathway for the production of nitric oxide when the enzyme arginase is present. Arginase destroys L-Arginine, and some population groups, such as African Americans, have larger quantities of arginase in their bloodstream. This can negatively affect nitric oxide production if L-citrulline is not part of their diet. Various antioxidants. Whenever your body produces energy through aerobic respiration, free radicals are formed. Free radicals are unstable molecules that cause cellular damage. Free radicals will also negatively affect nitric oxide to limit its signaling and healing capacities. Antioxidants are molecules that stabilize free radicals to prevent cellular damage and their negative effects on nitric oxide. One of the best supplements for the creation of nitric oxide is Pro-Arginine Plus from Synergy Worldwide. It has been specifically designed to nourish your endothelium to help it properly produce nitric oxide for improved cardiovascular health and function. A product that many believe to be the best nitric oxide supplement in the marketplace. Pro-Arginine Plus contains both L-Arginine and L-citrulline at the needed levels to help turbocharge your endothelium's ability to produce nitric oxide over an extended period of time. In addition to these two amino acids, Pro-Arginine Plus also includes the following ingredients: vitamins B6, B9, and B12, vitamin D3, vitamin K2, vitamin C, D-ribose, grape skin extract, red wine extract, pomegranate extract. I'm not going to go into detail about each ingredient, but I would like to highlight the science and manufacturing expertise that has gone into the development of this product. Pro-Arginine Plus is manufactured by Nature's Sunshine Products and distributed by Synergy Worldwide. Nature's Sunshine is 40 years old. They're one of the most respected nutritional manufacturers in the world. Both Synergy Worldwide and Nature's Sunshine have received the NSF Good Manufacturing Certification, which means that they meet the highest standards in the nutrition industry for quality assurance and control. The manufacturing process to create the proprietary formulation of Pro-Arginine Plus is second to none. A total of 247 tests are conducted along the various stages of manufacturing to ensure the highest quality and potency of the ingredients used. And once a batch has been produced, it must also pass through 15 additional tests before receiving its final stamp of approval. This level of quality is also reflected in the people who are associated with this product. On the screen is Dr. J. Joseph Prendergast, considered by many to be one of the leading authorities in the world on the use of L-Arginine for the treatment of cardiovascular concerns. Dr. Joe has been using L-Arginine, L-citrulline therapy since 1991 to help his patients experience phenomenal results. Dr. Joe contributed his 20 years of practical experience and research with the nutritional scientists at Nature's Sunshine Products to develop the Pro-Arginine Plus formulation. What also makes Pro-Arginine Plus unique in the nutrition industry is that it has clinical application and studies to back up its effectiveness. The High Desert Heart Institute is located in Victorville, California. They're considered one of the premier heart institutes in the world. In late 2009, they did a human clinical study using Pro-Arginine Plus. In fact, it's the most complete and comprehensive human clinical study ever done on a nutritional supplement. This study involved 33 congestive heart failure patients who are all medically and pharmaceutically managed to the maximum. Over a 90-day period, these patients were given an aggressive amount of Pro-Arginine Plus, and by the end of 90 days, all patients had their medications substantially reduced. So what does all this information mean to you? First, bad cholesterol causes damage to the endothelium, leading to plaque formations. Nitric oxide, when at sufficient levels in the bloodstream, heals the damage done to the endothelium, and research shows that it can reverse plaque formations to return the endothelium to a much healthier state. Second, the number one risk factor for a stroke and heart attack is high blood pressure. Nitric oxide causes the smooth muscle of the vascular wall to relax to help normalize your blood pressure. It's your endothelium that ultimately controls most blood pressure responses. Third, the number one cause of a stroke or heart attack is a blood clot. Nitric oxide naturally keeps blood platelet cells from sticking together to help prevent blood clot formation. As you can see, nitric oxide directly addresses each of these health concerns. It's your endothelium that directly produces nitric oxide from the amino acid L-Arginine, and the amino acid L-citrulline can turbocharge the endothelium's ability to produce therapeutic levels of nitric oxide over an extended period of time. We believe ProArginine Plus is the best nitric oxide supplement in the marketplace and can help you combat the negative effects of premature cardiovascular aging. Since most of your life revolves around your cardiovascular system, any improvements typically result in improved cell, tissue, and organ function. Additionally, ProArginine Plus comes with a 90-day unconditional money-back guarantee. So when you factor in ingredients, price, quality assurance, clinical studies, and the money-back guarantee, ProArginine Plus has the best value and an extremely competitive price. This leaves us with a final question. Are you ready to commit to the 90-day health challenge to see if ProArginine Plus can aid you in better control over your cholesterol levels? If your answer is yes, then please contact the person who invited you to this webinar. They can assist you in your purchase of ProArginine Plus and help you properly start on this excellent product. Or you can contact us at the Synergy Co-op. I've placed our contact information on the screen. We're part of a team whose mission is to help save 1 million lives. We'll work with you and your healthcare provider to help you properly nourish your endothelium for improved nitric oxide production. And if for any reason you're not satisfied with your results during the 90-day health challenge, then you can return all the product, used and unused, for a full refund. Please call us if you have any questions about this remarkable product.